My name is Reneau Peurifoy, and this is the third in a series of videos dealing with anger. Previous videos described the purpose of anger in our lives and began detailing the three general areas of effective anger management. The first is learning how to manage the level of anger you experience so it does not become out of control. The second is identifying and quieting the triggers that generate inappropriate anger. This is anger that is triggered when no real threat exists or that is out of proportion to the threat. The third is learning appropriate behaviors you can use when you are angry that can replace inappropriate ones. This video focuses on the second area, reducing inappropriate anger that occurs when no real threat exists or that is out of proportion to the threat. There are three things that can trigger this type of inappropriate anger: irrational beliefs and expectations, habitual ways of thinking and reasoning that distort reality, and unconscious emotional triggers. This video will focus on the first, irrational beliefs and expectations that trigger inappropriate anger. Inappropriate anger triggered by habitual ways of thinking and reasoning that distort reality is covered in a separate video titled Distorted Thinking. Emotional triggers that developed in childhood are dealt with in the video titled Emotional Triggers. A link to each of these videos is provided at the end of this one, along with links to the fourth and final video in this series and the home page of my channel where additional videos are located. As discussed in the two previous videos, most of your emotions are triggered by your interpretations of events. Anger and fear are the two possible emotions triggered when you perceive a threat. Fear is triggered by threats perceived to be beyond your ability to deal with and motivates you to escape from the threat. Anger is the response for threats that are seen as manageable and motivates you to eliminate the threat. Inappropriate anger is triggered when you either perceive a threat where none exists or when your perception exaggerates the importance of a threat. There are several things that can cause this type of faulty interpretation. One is the beliefs that you hold about what it means to be a man or a woman. Anything that threatens this image can be perceived as a threat and trigger anger. As you grew up, you were bombarded with millions of messages about what men and women should be. You saw images on television and in movies and heard messages about them in the music you listened to. Messages such as a man should be handsome, athletic, brave, strong, cool or hip, intelligent, and many other things. You also heard that a woman should be sexy, desirable, a good mother, nurturing, thin, independent, and many others. Even today, in a more liberated age, these are just a small sample of the stereotypes reinforced on playgrounds, in malls, and wherever boys and girls interact. Think about the types of derogatory names boys and girls hurl at each other. Boys call other boys baby, chicken, coward, crybaby, sissy, or weakling. Girls call each other bitch, fat, ugly, a nag, a slut, or a whore. Names like these send powerful messages that you had better live up to the cultural image of what men and women should be. Unfortunately, since it's impossible to live up to these unrealistic images, they are a common source of inappropriate anger. Take time now to answer each of the following questions. Feel free to pause the video as you do this. While growing up, what qualities did you think that men and women should have? What caused you to think this way? What qualities do you currently think men and women should have? Why are these qualities important to you? Are there times when these beliefs about men and women cause you to become angry? Of course, not all of the labels and messages you heard during your childhood were gender-related. negative messages abound that are given to both boys and girls. They are told that they are a disappointment, dumb, irresponsible, a loser, slow, stupid, and many other degrading things. Take a moment to pause the video and think of the negative labels that were used to describe you when you were young. If you are now using any of them to describe yourself, begin substituting more accurate and positive words to describe yourself or your actions. For example, as a child, Sharon's mother would call her stupid when she made a mistake. As an adult, Sharon had internalized her mother's behavior and would become angry and call herself stupid when she made a mistake. After realizing what she was doing, Sharon decided to change this habit. She wrote a reminder to label mistakes accurately on a card that she began reading every morning. At first, she would make a mistake and repeat her old habit of becoming angry and calling herself stupid. However, it didn't take long before her daily reminder helped her to notice when she did this. She would then challenge the negative label with thoughts such as, "I am not stupid. I'm actually very good at what I do. I just made a mistake." Sharon was surprised by the difference a simple activity like this made. After several weeks, she found herself experiencing very little inappropriate anger when she made a mistake, as the new thoughts gradually replaced the old ones. The reason this technique works is twofold. First, negative labels like Sharon's magnify the importance of the event. Second, negative labels that have roots in your past tend to reactivate pain from childhood that is associated with them. When Sharon called herself stupid, it triggered the feelings of shame and the sense of failure she felt as a child. Using accurate and more positive labels helps you to interpret events more realistically and stops you from dipping into pain from the past. In addition to images of who you are and how you should act, you also developed beliefs that affect how you interpret events. People who are struggling with anger management often think and act as if they believe one or more of the following 4 common erroneous beliefs. Life should be fair. Because I want something very much, I should have it. I should be able to change another person's behavior. When others hurt or mistreat me, they deserve to be punished. Now, if asked, a person with this type of belief would usually say that they don't believe it. However, when you listen to how they talk and watch how they react to events, it's clear that their thoughts and behavior are being shaped by one or more of them. More on how unconscious rules and beliefs can shape behavior can be found in the video titled Core Beliefs that can be found on the homepage of my channel. Since I want to keep this video short, I'll only discuss the first one of these unconscious core beliefs. Each of the others is explored in more depth in the material discussed at the end of the video. Think about times when something happened that you considered unfair. How did you react? If you became overly angry and threw a tantrum, then it's clear that your expectation is that life should be fair, and by fair, most mean equal. In reality, life is often terribly unfair. Accidents happen, and people do things that are not fair. Even when events go well and people try their best, total fairness is impossible to achieve in the real world. Because people and events are complex, you treat each person you meet in a somewhat different way. Likewise, the way you behave in every situation is different, no matter how similar they might seem. Wanting life to be fair magnifies inequalities so that they seem much more important than they really are. Wanting life to be fair, however, goes deeper than just this surface reality. When people say that something is not fair, it's often simply a disguised way of saying, "I didn't get what I want." It's really no different from a child who wants an ice cream cone but is told no because there is no money for it, or the time is inappropriate. With a wish denied, the child stomps his or her foot and declares, "It's not fair." The actual message is, "I didn't get what I want, and I'm mad about it." When you notice yourself focusing on how unfair someone or something is, take a moment to ask yourself if you were truly mistreated or if you just didn't get what you wanted. If you're just throwing a tantrum, remind yourself that mature adults can tolerate frustration. Also, remind yourself that while tantrums do sometimes work in the short run, in the long run, they damage relationships and keep you from achieving your goals. After looking at the event objectively, if you decide that it was truly unfair, remind yourself that injustice and inequality are a fact of life. Everyone acts in a hurtful and unjust way from time to time. Sometimes they do this deliberately. At other times, actions done with good intentions turn out to be hurtful or unjust because of lack of knowledge or understanding, or simply by accident. Instead of focusing on fairness, focus on needs. If a real need is being frustrated or threatened, concentrate on developing a plan to improve the situation. Try to be as objective as possible. Your goal is to be effective at meeting your needs, not to make things fair. Now take a moment to think about the other 3 common unconscious core beliefs. Because I want something very much, I should have it. I should be able to change another person's behavior. When others hurt or mistreat me, they deserve to be punished. Are there times when you become angry because you don't get what you want? When someone refuses to change their behavior? Or when you want to punish someone because of something they have said or done? If so, one or more of these beliefs may need to be addressed. All of the information in this video has been taken from the book Anger, Taming the Beast. Clicking on the image of the book takes you to more information about it. Clicking on Next takes you to the final video that focuses on learning appropriate actions you can take to resolve the threat that has triggered your anger. Clicking on the subscription button takes you to the home page of my channel, where you will find links to other videos mentioned in this one, as well as additional resources. Thank you for viewing my presentation. I hope it has given you useful skills for reducing the amount of inappropriate anger you experience. If it has, please click on the like button before leaving.